So Benji, last week we went to Card Party.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what Card Party is, why we were there, and like what's the background with the whole story there. Why did we go to Card Party?
Yeah. So how does a Pokemon convention have anything to do with creators? Card Party is a Pokemon card opening event and trading convention, I guess you would say. And people from all over the country flew into Seattle to celebrate Pokemon, do Pokemon stuff. It gets pretty nerdy, okay? I'm into Pokemon. My daughter's into Pokemon. But it's who put it on that really matters and the team around him. So Pat Flynn is a new content creator on YouTube when it comes to Pokemon. Arguably the biggest content creator when it comes to the Pokemon world. And he's got 1 hour long videos, 2 hour long videos that have millions of views each. Okay. And a couple things about Pat Flynn. He wasn't always a Pokemon creator. I know him from back in the social media marketing world and the passive income. He's like an OG podcaster. So number one, it's amazing to see him reinvent himself and be so successful at YouTube. And so that's part of it. Also, the guy behind the scenes, Dan, his producer, is somebody that met me years ago at Vid Summit when he was down and out, desperate, and just like crawling to make something happen. And now he's like flying high, responsible really for a lot of the storytelling, right? Pat Flynn gets all the credit for it's his idea. He's the face of it. He's the guy on camera. Dan is really the guy, like his running mate, making it all happen. So we learned from him kind of the secrets to their success.
Yeah.
That a lot of creators can learn from.
Yeah, one of the things that was amazing to me, I didn't really know much about Dan's background. I didn't know a ton about Pat Flynn, honestly. We've talked about him, of course. I've been kind of in your vicinity for a long time. And like you said, you and Pat Flynn have known each other for a very long time because you're kind of OGs in the kind of YouTube expert space, really, honestly. And it was interesting to hear about Pat Flynn's journey in the first place. So Pat Flynn runs two channels actually on YouTube that I know of, which is one is it Short Pocket Monsters? What's the name?
Deep Pocket Monsters and Short Pocket Monsters.
Okay, Deep Pocket Monsters and Short Pocket Monsters. Deep Pocket Monsters is their long form channel, and we're going to get to that. That's going to be the topic of the day so far. The other thing that they run is Short Pocket Monsters, which is like the name says, short form content. He's known for, if you've seen any Pokemon content, he's known for the should I leave it open, or should I open it, or should I leave it sealed content. He basically kind of like perfected that format and kind of is the leading person in that space. The second thing on the long form content, they started, I think, in 2020 or 2021. And so they've been going at it for 5 years. They have like millions of subscribers at this point. They're getting hundreds of thousands or millions of views on their videos pretty much every time they upload.
Yeah. 10 million views, he said. I think.
Really?
Was he saying it every day? It was crazy. Something like I went on their live stream because they streamed the whole event, got to talk to Pat Flynn. And yeah, I believe it was 10 million. It's something crazy.
Across all of their channels? Yeah. And so they're running a huge show, and this is like kind of their side hustle, by the way, which is the craziest part of it all. But we got to meet the guy behind their long form content, which of course is kind of right square in what we're interested in. And his name, as you said, is Dan. Now, I'm going to say a couple things, and I kind of want to do a little bit of reflection with you about like what we learned from Dan over the course of a couple of days spent with him. But one of the things that Dan told us, first and foremost, that I think was a revelation for me, because it was someone on the outside that I had never talked with before, confirming everything that we've talked about over the past year or so, which is that about a couple of years ago, when they were just getting started with Deep Pocket Monsters, he was afraid to upload a 20-minute video. He's like, 20 minutes? Anything longer than 20 minutes is too long. I can't upload anything longer than that. Well, guess what? They uploaded it. It did really well. And then the next bar was 30 minutes. Well, geez, we can't upload a 30-minute video. This is YouTube, for God's sake, right? We can't do this. They upload it. It does really well. They uploaded a video that was Seattle-based. They go everywhere when they upload these videos. Just before we went to Card Party last week. And it was an hour and 40 minutes. It's a whole movie. And it's doing great, actually. In fact, I'm curious about how they're doing. And I guess, long story short, it's first of all, you should go check out their channel if you haven't seen it before, just to get a sense of the kind of things that they're doing. But they are knocking these things out of the park. They're posting these 1.5 to 2 hour long movies once a month and getting getting millions of views every single time they upload. It's really quite an incredible feat on YouTube. They're kind of the Mr. Beast of the Pokemon space right now, in my opinion. And so, Benji, I'm curious about what you took away from Dan in particular, because he's really the producer behind the scenes making that channel happen.
Yeah, well, what's happening behind the scenes?
Well, yeah, tell me about what you learned from Dan about how they're making that work. How are they getting 2 hour long videos, getting millions of views every time they upload?
They're really tapping into what is making YouTube successful the same way we are, even if they're niche and even the format is different. And if you've been listening to me or you've been coached by me or taken my course, you know that right now I'm obsessed with vlogging. I'm doing Vlogtober. Part of the reason it works is because vlogging is perfectly situated for this demand for longer videos. Simply put, they're tapping into that. As you said, they were afraid to do 20-minute videos, and now they're doing 2-hour videos, getting 1 million plus views. There's a reason they only do 1 upload a month, because it takes so long to produce a 1, 2, 3 hour epic show about their Pokemon, card opening kind of adventures. That's all the bandwidth they have to do it. And also, like, why not? It's getting 1 million views per upload.
Exactly.
But they stumbled and kind of found out the same thing I did.
Yes.
That this is one of the reasons why I'm excited about YouTube is when I hear from other creators. I've got a lot of friends in the creator space. I'm always talking to them, and they're finding out the same thing as me, because we all use the same platform. We all read the YouTube analytics, and their success has been my success, and now Judy's success, and so many other creators, which is that television is the #1 device people are consuming YouTube on. But creators were never formatting their content for the television. Partly my fault, right? Because I kept saying in my book, YouTube Secrets, and I'm saying, hey, this is everything, right? Like, make sure you make the video for the phone. And now it's like, this is why I had the TV behind me. Make the video for this, but it doesn't stop there. People are watching this longer content on their computer, on the laptop, on the tablet, and even the phone, because I think ultimately the second part of it, YouTube is a go-to platform for longer videos.
Yeah.
People are definitely consuming shorts on there. But when they want that longer, kind of casual, sit on the couch, whether it's a couch or chores or even like commuting type of viewing, in that case, you're listening, hopefully, unless you got FSD on Tesla, then YouTube is a place to go. Not nowhere else, right? It's interesting because even like, if you think about a Hulu or Netflix or a Paramount, you kind of want to sit and commit to these shows and these movies. But with YouTube, it's everything.
Exactly.
So it's benefiting from that. And the creators that are seeing this and saw this are the ones getting tons of views. And guess what? Everybody else, their views are down. And they're like, what the heck is happening? And that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting at the nut of the thing that I wanted to talk about in this segment of the show, which is that the TV is such a big deal. Like, you say it's the #1 place for people to watch the long form content, and you mentioned these other streaming services. I just want to nail that home. When we say #1 place, we mean more than movie theaters. We mean more than Netflix. We mean more than Hulu. YouTube is literally the #1. And so it's really important to remember that if you're looking to, by the way, this goes for like big Hollywood studios too, by the way, or big studios that are trying to make like TV shows. If you're looking for eyeballs, YouTube is the place to be. And here's the advantage for creators. They also get access to that distribution as well from any level that they're at. Now, here's the twist, bringing it back to Card Party and Dan. Our experience with Dan was that, actually, I'll just talk about my experience with Dan. You introduced me to Dan. You connected with him a few times before. You told me about your background. He told me about his background. And importantly, part of his background was that he worked in live broadcasting on the television for many, many years before he got started on video. In fact, he went to film school. He told us his professors said that he would never make any money doing online video, and so he went in the more traditional career and did 11 years in live sports broadcasting for Major League Baseball and Disney. So crazy, right? 11 years on the television, and he eventually started helping out Pat Flynn. There's a whole crazy story about how he got connected with Pat Flynn for Deep Pocket Monsters, and I was just blown away because the more he talked to us, the more I figured out that he was taking everything he learned from his time in TV and bringing it to YouTube. And guess what? In 5 years, they're blowing it out of the park. Getting, I checked, by the way, that video uploaded 5 days ago, 1 million views already.
Okay. Can I just pause for a second?
Please.
I want to go on the record saying in a private conversation, he doesn't mind, I'm going to reveal this. I think like 2019, I told him his experience in live streaming and broadcasting, as well as being in traditional media, would help him on YouTube.
No way.
Yes. I said, this is going to actually help you on YouTube because you understand how this works. Like the entertainment business, you understand, like properly running a show, run of show. And, I've done live streams. So, amateur hour, just me and Judy doing it off a webcam to like full on, like 25-person team. And what I realized is live streaming at that time, how could I have known I was so correct, was still in its infancy. And now you've got in real life live streamers. But what I'm saying is live streaming is still on the table. And now not only is he utilizing his experience from traditional media, being at Disney and ESPN for his storytelling, which is getting him millions of views, okay? Yes. It's like, he understands this. He actually studies storytellers and different methods of storytelling. Guess what? He's actually streaming his content. That's when I went to Card Party. They invited me on stage. I was there talking with Pat Flynn on a live stream, kind of like game day, football commentary style, but for Pokemon cards. And the point is this: it's a great opportunity right now to do both really long content, live streaming. Hence why we're streaming this.
Totally.
So the reason I bring that up is one, I want to make sure there's receipts out there that I told him. He like agree, okay? Because he was like desperate when I told him this. I could have never imagined this would happen.
Yeah.
But also, it shows you that our worlds are converging. So it's both a good thing and a bad thing. Bad thing because lots more competition in the space, because now if everyone's watching on the TV and YouTube's the destination, guess what? Everyone else is going to flock here, which, by the way, guess who else is going to flock here? Advertisers, brands. That's a whole nother topic. But Dan, myself, beginners are all going to be able to tap into this crazy demand for longer, content, whether it's longer videos, like to the tune of 30 minutes, an hour, as well as live streams. And I'm really excited for you if you're a beginner creator. Don't fall into the trap of doing what everyone else is kind of doing right now. Do this thing, which was never a possibility. And in fact, like Dan experienced, I shouldn't be doing this. No one's going to watch a 20-minute video. Now they're doing 2-hour videos.
Yeah, they've sort of, just to be clear, the Deep Pocket Monsters, they're not doing like a ton of live streaming. They do some live streams, but their main thing is just long form content. But he's taking his live experience and folding that in both to long form content and the live streams that they're doing, for example, at their big events like Card Party, right? And so one of the things that I really took away, and I think this was surprising to both you and I, is Dan's role in Pat's operation. I think long ago, right, the assumption, in fact, I think he's speaking at Vid Summit, by the way, and he's going to talk about his role and why they're able to get these types of views and these consistent viewers over and over again on their channel. And one of the things he revealed to us was that he's doing, they are able to do that because he has a very specific role. He's not really the editor. He's kind of the producer, but he's really only focused on one thing in particular.
One thing.
Storytelling. And so we talked, and this was like, as soon as he said these things, our minds are blowing, and he just talked about the TV opportunity and going long. I'm like, dude, you're like taking pages out of our book, basically. Like, we are independently sort of coming to these conclusions from totally different sides of the spectrum to some degree, right? Yeah. So it's just confirming everything that you and I are talking about, right? And so one of the things that he tells us is that storytelling is, just like we talk about, our third T, telling stories in the new vlogging method, is how he's making his stories interesting, how he's keeping people watching for an hour and a half hour and 40 minutes, 2 hours. And more importantly, how he gets them coming back actually to the next video. He says that a big part of the storytelling in one video is not to just make viewers satisfied to watch that whole 2-hour video in the first place, but to get them to come back next month, so that way they're interested in watching the video after that. And he posted on his Instagram the other day after I started following him, and I wish I'd screenshotted this because he had a great comment on one of his videos where it's a viewer, totally unrelated from them, basically saying, I keep coming back to your videos because it keeps layering on from the past. Every time you upload a new video, you're incorporating more and more from the previous videos that you had and pulling together these storylines and creating this epic, like almost like Avengers-like story where you're having all these storylines come together in every single video you create.
Vlogging 101. I mean, you don't even have to be so intentional or so produced about it.